Hi, this is Shadi. Today I want to discuss kata training and how it can be very beneficial even if you are a competitor and there is many things that can be instilled in you as a grappler and as a human being from doing kata. So I'm sure many of you have seen this type of joke floating around about another day has passed. I didn't have to use the stuff I used in high school. Well, little do we know that mathematical thinking can help us solve problems even if you are not doing mathematics, and it is through years of training. And uh, this type of thing is very important, not just for engineers or scientists. So before we do all of that, please don't forget to check out my book, The Origin and History of Judo, translation of a manuscript from 1903, available in both French and English with bilingual Japanese. So today I want to show you this little footage from Kokushikan University. So these are the some of the university students that of course go out and compete. Here they are shown being, you know, training kata, and particularly Itsutsu no kata. I would say one of the most philosophical kata out there. And it's not just about the flow of water and the waves as some people would, initially uh, explain it to you, but it has a lot of principles. So it's five. So some of them, things like, you know, um, if two greater forces don't meet, they don't have to perish. And also, you take what, the other person is giving you, and a lot of things about how to really roam freely and not really disturb something. And also, when you are in your purest form, nothing can take you down. And that's actually my favorite, because really, when getting thrown or tapped or whatever it is, even just losing in life in general, is about maintaining a proper posture, not just physically, but also, of course, mentally. Uh, so these things that are constantly being trained over and over, and at the same time, the teacher of Kokushikan here, he explains in this, I'll link it below if you want to watch it. He talks about it's teaching them that it's important for to understand, the relationship between the two, bodies, the partners in sparring, etc. Not just in kata, but everything else. How you can react with whatever it is given to you, and for me that's very important. And also, Jigoro Kano put these kata for us to train for a lot of reasons, and not just. I'll go back to the footage. I'll show you of them sparring a little bit, but I'm just explaining that it is very important. It is not just to, for example, people think that, oh, you do this and then you go out and you can be a street brawler. Of course not. This is ridiculous. Everything is needed. Newaza, uchikomi, nagekomi, kata, whatever it is, and go home and read some books. All of it is being demanded as a martial artist. So here, and then 2 hours later, you see them sparring like crazy. If you don't know, Kokushikan is where Ishii used to train, and Muneta and Katabuchi and all the greats. So Chigoro Kano, in his book, The Mind Over Muscle, talks about, or a compilation of his writings, I should say. He talks about kata in the last chapter of the book, and it talks about a lot of people are actually uh, gravitating towards only sparring because it is competitive and it is fun, and they're not interested in kata. And he says if something is good for you, you should be training it regardless, or you should be doing it regardless. So one of them being uh, reaction time, how to strike, and also he talks about muscular imbalance. So if you look at Nage no Kata, for example, that's one thing that comes to mind. You should do everything literally mirrored, right and left. And this is what he means by muscular imbalance. You cannot be strong on one leg that's supporting you, while the other one you cannot stand. And of course, if you have an unbalanced, leg, or not good, a poor balance, you can obviously injure something like your knee if you're not careful. If you can basically result in a weak posture and a poor physique. And he talks about it in general. I'm not just talking about kata, but to a lot of people, kata can be a lot of things. It can be drilling, it can be uchikomi, because every repetition is like the one before. It is form, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions, thousands of repetitions throughout our lives. And if you think about it, this is also a form of kata, but the others are nage no kata, form of throws or a form of control, etc. But you can think of nagekomi and uchikomi and all these as also form of kata, and also live drilling as well. And here you can see Kano himself loved kata a lot, and he trained it almost religiously in his later years, and he talks about it. A lot of people, as they age, maybe they cannot spar anymore, they cannot do whatever for whatever reason, and they end up either quitting or whatever. But kata is a great way to continue your path of practice, because being a martial artist, you have to understand that it is a lot of things. And as in judo, at least, the most important thing is to create a better society. So understanding the philosophy and the principles behind the kata. So as you are learning them, they're teaching you how to stand up, how to lift your opponent for kata guruma in nage no kata, or how to time it that your opponent falls effortlessly, etc. When I was training for my black belt, the kata, I learned so much about these throws that I've done a lot of times, and because there's a lot of hidden details that will show you, they will show you as you are learning them. So it's not only just doing it, it's also about constantly learning the little details that you can carry over into sparring, etc. Also, I think, the last, I would say, 10 years or so, the McDojo and Bullshido type ridicule and culture has really blurred the vision, I would say, because in my opinion you should do literally everything. To them it's either jiu-jitsu or MMA or nothing else, or you should only spar and everything else doesn't matter. But when you see berimbolo drills or something, suddenly everyone is defending them, which is again absurd, because he's doing a form of kata. If it's every repetition the same as the one before, where there's a particular principle, how he's rolling on his shoulder properly in order to effortlessly roll over his partner without much effort, etc. So take from that what you will. Please let me know down below what you think. Don't forget to check out the link below. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.